Hello, hello. This is Key, and welcome to the Universal Class Reading, where we get to discuss about what happens to us universally, emotionally, energetically. We first started off as the masculine, feminine, soulmate readings, and we realized that we have similarities. So, we're going to figure out what or where does those come from emotionally, energetically in this classroom. I am your key guidance trainer, and for the next 2 weeks on this reading, particular reading, we'll be discussing emotional, energetical topics. So, masculine, feminine soulmates, you are now in the classroom where all the readings are done. You are the relics, RELIC, in this classroom. So, I know it's been a while, so let's see what's been happening emotionally, energetically. Let me get this ready because I haven't done this in a while. Let's see how this is done. Live chat. So whoever comes in, welcome. All right. So, in the classroom, masculine, feminine, soulmate, you have been experiencing for a couple of days after your graduation these emotions, energetically and emotionally. So, let's see. The topic of the next 2 weeks will be based on, is nothing something, or is something nothing? Universal topic. So, being graduated, we're going to talk about this because we got renewal, the masculine. Feminine got the five of fire, five of foundation, Leo. Fifth house of Leo, the leader of foundation. You got the soulmate in the 10th house of Capricorn. You all about what captivates and captures the world. Masculine, you have renewal. You've been in the second house, Taurus, which is my sun, moon, and rising. Well, sun, moon, rising in Scorpio. So, what have you been feeling? Trinity. And I'll tell you, as the key, as your key in the classroom, what have I felt emotionally, energetically as being the high priestess in my reality? Because whatever is discussed in this classroom are things that we have experienced in our real reality outside of the classroom that we can talk about here. So, Matt, what you feeling? Well, it's been a while, so what have I been renewing? First, things that are concern of my core values in regards to what is my value and what do I hold standards in that, and connecting to source and how to figure that out. Because it's not just me, I'm also thinking about my family in that regard. This is why I have went to source to understand more deeply, why do I want to connect to my values and my standards behind them. feminine, what you've been going up against emotionally, energetically. Well, uh, I had to show that I am a leader. And in order to do that, I had to make some changes in my foundation to show that I am a leader of my changes. And at times it was very difficult for me because when making room to make a foundation, you do have to make some changes to show that. It's different than just saying that you're a leader, but showing it through your actions and your real world does play a significant part. And I didn't realize that until I had to physically make some changes in my foundation to see how people would look at me and how I would even look at myself and my will. I never had to look at my willpower in that regard, or how my heart is actually the foundation of my very actions, determination, and drive. I don't just do it just to do it. I have purpose behind it. All right. Okay. Soulmate, what have you been up to? Well, being a captivator, I had to experience how I have always been captivating the people in my world to make my luck. I didn't realize that how I communicate with people always made them feel like a family unit with me. At times I just thought I was just connecting to people and talking with them, but I didn't realize that how I communicate and how I am seen in my community, the 10th house of Capricorn, which is all about family, companies, organizations. I didn't realize that I play a huge role in my job, where I work, where I go to school, where I learn. My presence is important, but I don't know what does that got to do with the class. We're going to find out. Right. Being the key, not just through the doorway, but for the classroom. I am a trainer in this classroom. In Kiki's Doorway, when reading the 12 Zodiac signs and Soulmate, yes, I am a reader. And I had to understand that what I do on this channel, yes, is entertainment, but entertainment is looked at as a profession, is looked at as serious. But I had to emotionally, energetically step into the high priestess role in my real world too. And being a Taurus, I had to see what is my value and what's my standard. And I had to come to a realization to tell you guys the truth. Yes, I am a teacher in my real world. I teach public and charter schools. But majority of my time is helping people on a regular basis. Either do listening to them, connecting them to natural resources in the community, talking to other artists, and finding out what is relevant that can be talked about or used for someone else, and physically working those areas to see how it can be relating to the cards. To me, when I do readings, it is like reading an actual book. When we read a book, we learn something from it. We don't just learn just anything. We learn what is valuable to us and the standards behind it. So much so that we actually, in our reality, play what we have read out, because we know that what we read sometimes has a connection to us, either through personality, through character, our character, or through our emotions or energy. That's why having the energy and emotions of a high priestess was more relatable, because when I'm not doing the channel, I'm actually doing homework. So I would have to show you. So far, these are the books. I have all the notes since May 2019 of all the 12 zodiacs and elements. And I not only just write what the readings are, but I also Google, Wikipedia, find jobs, find connections in those readings. So not only is this class I take seriously, but the spiritual readings is my reality. This is my work. This is another source of work, another source of profession, and this is a way of life for me. This is my home business. This is my family tree. This is the connections to everybody that I have been connecting to in the USA and internationally. So whatever I read, I feel and know emotionally, energetically, it is to become a relic, something that should be looked into more closely and more seriously. So that's what I found out, and I had to realize that I put about 30 to 40 hours into this, along with doing 20 hours of physical work in the board of education and in the health field and in the entertainment world as well. So now we can begin class. We got 10 minutes. Let's see what's going to happen. So what's going on emotionally, energetically? Is nothing nothing, or is something nothing? Because we all had to experience this emotionally, energetically. So let's find out what we have experienced as the four gates, the four elements, the 12 zodiacs within this room. What has been felt emotionally, energetically on a physical level? God, Gaia, God, Goddess, Mother, Father of the universe. What has the masculine, feminine, soulmate, and key experienced emotionally, energetically for today, in finding and coming out with what they have learned about themselves? Okay, we got some more to go. Emotionally, energetically. What has taken place emotionally, energetically? For masculine, feminine, soulmate, key. Let's see if we have the books, the tablets, because we are reading a book, after all, of our experience emotionally, energetically in this classroom. We need 3 more. Trinity. Let's see. Right. So, what's going on? What's going on? right? The masculine feeling. All right. Dreamer. Okay. So, is nothing something to you? Or is something nothing? Well, to you, it looks like it's zero, the dreamer. It's being seen as zero. So, you're saying something is actually nothing and nothing is actually something? Well, not really. Like, nothing is actually zero, right? Yeah, but you have zero there. Yeah, so are you just looking at the two or the zero or both numbers? Hmm. Well, in order for me to find out if nothing is actually something and something is actually, or if something is actually nothing, I would have to first start with what I would think nothing is. Welcome to the classroom. What is nothing? All right, let's see. Feminine, what you think about that? Is nothing something or is something nothing? Well, I am the king of my world, so I feel what I gotta say would be more than what the masculine is saying right now, because he's a dreamer. He just imagining. No, I'm not. Well, hey, I'm talking now. Okay, well, what do you think? All right. Well, as a king, as the feminine king right now, as the world, I would think nothing is actually something. Well, why would you think nothing is something? Because nothing for nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you wanna be with me. Hmm. Billy, Preston, or Preston, I think that is. Well, why did you come up with that song? Well, if someone didn't have nothing, then would you talk to that person that has nothing? No, you would talk to somebody that has something. So nothing actually has to be something, or else why would you talk to someone that has nothing? Okay. Let's see what the soulmate has to say about that. Six of water. All right. So you are the validator of the world. You're in the sixth house of Virgo, and Virgo is all about validate. So what do you validate from what the feminine is talking about then, since you have the same element, water, and you are the Capricorn at this moment? What would you say on that? Well, hmm, if I have nothing, how would I give out nothing to someone? But if I had something, I could give that something to someone. Okay. So we would have to figure out what is something then. Well, something from the world. Okay. We could get water from the world, right? Yes. But that's considered nothing. Well, why do you say that? Because it's free. Water is considered free. Uh-uh. Wait, who said that? Okay. Masculine, you are renewal. You are the reviver over here. What what is it? Well, you're right, soulmate. Water is free, yet pay for that. We pay for water. When you go to the deli store, you pay for water. When you go to the grocery store, you pay for water. When you go to work, you're paying for water. When you go to school, you're paying for water. When you go home, you pay for water. So, yeah, it is free because it's a lot of water, but yet we charge for water in the world or universal. water is being charged, so that's free. That's considered nothing, but we turned it into something. Okay, all right. So you have a point. Then why do we consider water nothing then? Let's see what the high priestess say about that. You are the bookkeeper about water, or about notes and teachings and healing, and you are a key for the class. Okay, I'm in the 7th house, so I'm in the Libra house of atmosphere. So what's in the atmosphere? Let's see. Plans of revision. We are talking about that. How do we look at nothing or something? So, masculine, feminine, soulmate, all of you are right. When it comes to nothing, then it wouldn't be considered something emotionally, energetically, because we don't see it there. Yet, just like air, we breathe it. So, that's a nothing that turns into something. But in regards of the element that we're discussing, water we would probably consider as nothing because it's always around us. It's not of short supply. If it was of short supply or limited, then we would actually have more value about the water. Hence, we would actually have to charge it if it's of importance. It does make 75 to 80% of our body. We do need that for nourishment, and not just us. Plants need it. Other mammals need it to survive, that we learn, grow, and feed off of. So, to have balance, we would have to say nothing can be something, and something can actually be nothing. But both something and nothing is a thing. Well, what do you mean by that? Yeah, what do you mean by that? I'm about foundation, so how are we going to work on that? How are we going to work on having nothing and make it into something? Well, what is that song by Lauryn Hill? That thing, that thing, that thing, that thing, that thing, that thing. What is that thing that someone would say nothing, but is actually something that could be used? Well, as a foundation, I would say anything could be made as something then, even if it looks like it's nothing. It depends on how we use it. So how do we use nothing? I'm a dreamer, and I'm starting off with nothing. So how do I can make it into something? Let's find out. Hey, see what's up. So, masculine. Now that you know you can make your dream into something, what would it be? Well, it's of the 8th house of Scorpio, so whatever I feel is connected to source inside of me, that could be somewhere where I could start, or source outside of me, that is where I could start in regards to my dream. So let's go inward. What is the source in you as a dreamer? What do you dream about as your starter? What have you always dreamed about starting? That would be your justice. That way, the nothing can turn into physical something. Feminine. You're now the fifth house. Wow. You're now in the fifth house again of Leo. So you're still a leader, obviously. You're a king and you're still in the house of Leo, the leader. But how are you going to be a leader in your environment? Earth is about the environment. So how are you going to lead in your environment? How are you going to use your king knowledge of the world based on your emotions? How you use your intuitions? And now, as an earth element, you're seeing how you can use your emotions, which we think emotions is nothing. But if it was emotions, then how can we feel then? We wouldn't feel nothing. We would just be robots. So obviously, as a human being, our emotions and energy can be used in the world, or in this case, in the environment. So, emotionally, energetically, you're going to see if we can change nothing into something based on how you become a leader in your environment. Because to lead, that would mean you would have to learn about who you are in your willpower, but mainly who you are in the heart that you want to make as an enterprise in your environment. What does your heart want to physically change in your environment? Because the fifth house is all about change, feminine. Soulmate. Let's see. All right, how are we going to make that nothing into something, or that something that we think is nothing into something? Soulmate, you are in the two of air. You're in the Taurus house. So you're going to connect to your hmm, your standards based on what you hold valuable. What are the things that you hold valuable in your atmosphere? What are the things you hold as standard in your atmosphere? That will give you your fortune, or will continue to make your fortune and make your world even more balanced. So that nothing, which is really your standards and what you value, that's what you're going to be. How am I in the real world with you guys? How am I going to be training in this reality? I'm going to have to step into the third house of fire, which is the third house is Gemini. So I got to communicate what my foundation is. I got to communicate more what my foundation is in the community, and how I have learned from the community and have helped the community, and the way it is a foundation. So I have to find that out through the house of Gemini. So I'm going to have to communicate more the foundation, because that is the way I would end up collaborating. Because Gemini, or the house of Gemini, is all about intellect, community, school, culture, knowledge, universal knowledge, and how it can be utilized in reality. So, masculine, how do you feel knowing you're going to be in the eighth house? You're going to be a Scorpio. You're going to be known as the source and starter of your dreams. How do you feel about that? Well, if I'm revising, I feel I'm actually leading towards that anyway. I just don't know how I'm going to emotionally, energetically feel as a Scorpio. So I'm interested in knowing how that's going to play out from now until tomorrow. Okay. Feminine. How does it feel being the Leo of your environment, the leader, for today, going into tomorrow? Well, to actually be a leader. It seems I've always known that I can be a leader. I just didn't think that I actually had that willpower to actually go all the way, or if go all the way. I didn't think I didn't think that that would be considered something. Or if I did consider it as something, sometimes I wonder, do others or will others emotionally, energetically see it as something and not just nothing? And if they see it as nothing, I want to show them in my environment that it is something to me. Hmm. Soulmates, how does it feel for you? Well, I like knowing my values and standards, but to have it in the atmosphere, saying it to the world or physically doing it to the world is one thing, but actually having it as a teaching and training in my atmosphere, I don't know how I would end up doing that, or what way have I been doing it as something, yet I looked at it as nothing. Or when I seen it as nothing, I didn't realize that I was actually doing something. Now I get to find out what that something is in my atmosphere based on how I did or played out my role as what my value is and what my standard is. Okay? Key, how do you feel knowing you had to show through communications and collaborations that you want to build your foundation for real? Well, I would have to start talking to people that I never thought I would have to. And I'm nervous about it because that would mean me saying in my reality that the things I've been working on for the past 3 years has been so far to make the foundation I've been planting more firmer, more legit, seen as something to be taken seriously and not something as this something silly to look at, because this is not silly to me. This is my real world. The things I read is things that I've been playing out in my reality for the past 8 years. But I have been in this teaching or practice for the past 20 years. I didn't think that I would be showing it in this art form, which is in tarot reading. Thought I would show it more in the jobs that I have, which I have shown, but now my full-time work is this. I didn't realize it till I'm doing this live class with you guys. So, tomorrow at 8 o'clock a.m. in Harlem, USA, I will be on time this time on having the class continue. I will have a class, the universal class reading at 8 a.m. and at 9 p.m. That will make it easier to have a full class and document it more effectively for not just you only, but for me as your key and trainer. This was just an introduction to the class. Like the first day of school, what we will be learning in the classroom. So, learning how nothing can be something, and if something is actually nothing, why do we still use the nothing too? How is that relatable to our real world? How have we used that emotionally, energetically in our lives? So, thank you for coming into the classroom. Thank you for entering. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. and tomorrow night at 9 p.m. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Trinity, Key, we will see you tomorrow. Oh, wait. Tomorrow, I would like to have interaction. So, if you enter the class, say hi, hello, so I can acknowledge you. Even if I don't have to say your name, just knowing that someone physically also in the classroom with us or in this class session, I should say. If this class reading resonates with you, press the like button, share the reading with others, and subscribe. If you would like to continue this with me and actually engage, so that way each masculine, feminine soulmate can be discussed in the live class. This classroom is for whoever wants to engage to ask a question to either the masculine, feminine, soulmate, or key, which is me, or interpret which one that you feel you want to respond to. That is a class, after all. Communication in the classroom, based on what you know of the topic and your real relation to it, and how it can be a resolution for our real world when we step out of this classroom. Look in the description box below for what the class truly means to me, what the spiritual reading truly means to me, and each zodiac sign and element means to me. See you tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow.